Hey, Stuart Sutton at Real Estate by Stuart. Hope your day is going great. A few years ago, the state of California Department of Motor Vehicles, DMV, sent out renewal registration forms, and the cost was about 300% more than the year before. You think people are happy? Absolutely not. They were flooded with angry calls. They admitted their error, made the correction, and sent out new registration renewal forms that were about 50% more than the year before. Now, people were fairly okay with that. Do you think they'd have been okay with that if they'd have gotten the 50% to begin with? Probably not. But compared to 300%, 50% seemed pretty darn okay. It's called the rule of contrast. Now, do we think the state of California did that on purpose so they'd be okay with 50%? They're probably not that smart, but that's exactly what happened. Now, why am I telling you about the state of California and the DMV? Well, you'll see in just a few minutes. Now, we're going to compare the first 6 months of 24 compared to the first 6 months of 23. A lot of people wondering what 24 was going to be like. I think a lot of what's going on in 24 has to do with the people expected interest rates to decrease, and they really didn't. Now, they have ticked down a little here and there, but they did not get a decrease like we anticipated. And I think that's part of the reason buyers are holding out. Sales, and this is, by the way, for north of Austin. I didn't include Austin itself because that tends to skew things a little bit for the markets in the suburbs. Round Rock, Georgetown, Cedar Park, Leander, etc. The reason for that is because Austin tends to be more robust of a market. Even in a robust market, Austin's more robust. But this is the suburbs north of Austin. About a 5% decrease in the number of sales. And I believe that goes back to what I mentioned earlier. Buyers holding back a little bit because the interest rates did not come down as we expected. 67 days on the market is the average. That's not bad. As a matter of fact, that's pretty good. In a normal market, it's actually a little bit higher than that. So we're sitting okay there. 97.5% list to sell ratio. Yeah, that's the asking price compared to the sold price. So buyers are paying about 97.5% of asking for homes on the market. And that is, again, pretty darn normal. The price change doesn't have to do with the price change in the overall market. What I'm talking about is when a home goes in the market, how much does the price have to change before it sells? So some homes go on the market and guess what? They never change their price. Some go on the market, they make one price change and it sells. Some homes go on the market and make 2, 3, 4 price changes before it sells. What this indicates is the percentage. So we saw the price change go up about 2.4% compared to 23. So we saw more price changes in 24 in order to get homes sold. All that is an indication that sellers modestly overpriced their homes and had to move the price in order to get them down. I hope this makes sense. One thing I like to throw in is the simple fact that homes that don't have any price changes, that price at or below market to begin with, sell higher, closer to asking, and faster. That's just something to keep in mind if and when you sell your home. The success rate has to do with what percentage of homes go on the market and actually go to closing. So if 100 homes go on the market and 80 go to closing, that's an 80% success rate, right? That can be measured month after month, year after year, neighborhood by neighborhood, and it'll vary based on areas. There are areas in our market right now that have less than a 30% success ratio, and there are areas that have well over 60, 70% success ratio. So the number of new listings that went on the market was about 14% higher than a year ago. That is a positive because we've been looking for more inventory. But you don't necessarily have to call it a positive because in a market where it's already saturated, it wouldn't be. But in our case, it happens to be. The homes that were removed from the market, the percentage actually fell a little bit. So we had a little more success in 24 compared to 23. The average price is what everyone wants to know about. What's going on with the average prices in our real estate market? Well, the average price for the first 6 months of 24 compared to 23, we're down about 1.17%. Now that's negligible. That's pretty well what we call maintaining. Now, there are areas of the market that are doing a little better and some areas that are doing less. But with virtually no change, that is a very positive sign in the real estate market right now. And one of the reasons I brought up that story to begin with is very simply this. When we saw the contrast between the 300% and the 50%, that wasn't bad. Think about this. In 2008, we saw values plummet by about 25% and more. Now, not as bad as Florida, California, Nevada, Arizona, but 25% is a pretty big hit. If you have a $500,000 house and it falls by 25%, it's now only worth $375,000. If you have a $500,000 house and it falls by 1%, well, it's now worth $495,000. So that's a pretty distinct difference. Yeah, it's not great to have a slight loss in value, but again, it's negligible. Some people will not feel it at all. Some people will feel it a little bit more, depending on the type of property and the location where you're at. I hope this makes sense. Now, I did throw another video up here for you. This is one that actually goes into how much profit did you gain during that run-up in 21 and 22. You made a lot of profit. May have slipped a little bit, but you're still looking good if you live in this real estate market. Press that like button if you like this video and subscribe if you'd like to see more of this. Thanks so much for your time. Remember, it's your choice, so make it a powerful day.